Hi everybody, how you doing? It's Glenn Dronell here again, and we're going to do a little pad lesson. The last one was, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. I did the groove to that. This one is going to be out of a book, and I don't usually do stuff out of a book because I know there's a lot of non-readers, that watch my channel. But if you don't read, email me. I'll work with you. I'll get you to read, because there's some gigs that you just can't get without reading. That's one. Two, I think it's just good for you. I think it's just good. It's just part of our language, and it helps. For me, it helps me. Like, I actually can sometimes see what I'm playing as I'm playing it. I see the notes, and it helps me to kind of know where I am. But for today, this lesson is twofold. We've got a technique part of the lesson, right? And we have a inspiration part of the lesson. So I call this lesson 50 Shades of Syncopation. We're stuck on the 50 things lately, so I'm joking there too, by the way. So what we got here is page 34, 35, 30, I think all the way to 39 of the Syncopation book by Ted Reed. Sorry, it's right there. You can take a look at it. I'm going to put this in the frames as I'm playing them, right? So the rhythms in this book, if you read it all, are not hard. And I'm going to demonstrate them. So we're looking at page 34. So why am I doing this? Why? Sometimes, especially in the pandemic, you just get uninspired. Even without the pandemic, sometimes you get into the habit of playing the same gigs over and over. You play with this person on a Tuesday, and this person on a Friday, and this person on a Saturday. It used to be a little different when I was on cruise ships. It was always something different going on, But even then, you had kind of the same production shows week after week. And after you got those down, what else was there to do on the show? At some point, you got it to a place where there was something else you could do to make it any better. You know what I mean? So these are ruts that we all get in, and I believe everybody gets in them. Athletes, chess champions, we all get into these ruts, right? So this is one of the ways that I get out of my ruts. I try to do maybe a new thing with an old idea. So this is something my teacher Joe Casadas showed me many years ago. Again, we're on pages 34 through 39 of the Syncopation book, and I'm looking at page 34 today, the first one, right? The first example of the first page. And the rhythm, you've heard it many times, you've played it before, right? It's an old syncopated rhythm. It's 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 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 So there you go. That's the very first rhythm, 4 bars of the book Syncopation, page 34. But alright, so that's the rhythm. So how am I going to make that work for me on the kit? Well, there's a whole bunch of ways that you can do. And you can come up with your own ways to incorporate that rhythm as you're playing. Whether you put it in the middle of a rock beat, or put it in your ghost notes, but watch what I'm going to do. So let's take, I'm left-handed. Let me start with my left, and I'm going to do this traditional grip first. So here's the rhythm with my left. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Right? Very simple rhythm. Let's say maybe you had that on the bell of the cymbal, and just thinking out loud, right? Because everything you do on the pad, like I said, I play the pad a lot because I live in an apartment, and just prior to the pandemic, between teaching and playing, I was very busy. I didn't have a ton of time to spend, hours a day working on the kit. A couple of days a week I would do that. Even one day a week was sometimes good if I could do that. So I spent a lot of time on the pad, but I didn't really do anything on the pad that I somehow couldn't take over to the kit or was going to help me on the kit, because that's where I make my money. So here we go. Now let's say I was doing that on the bell of a cymbal, right? Maybe I'm going to put the rest of the notes in my traditional grip hand or my weak hand. If you're right-handed, it would be your left. For me, it's my right. So watch what I'm going to do now. Watch. I'm going to go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Right. So now I've got, maybe that's the bell of the cymbal. When we get to the kit, and I'm going to show you these on the kit, and I'm going to do some footwork with it to make it even more fun to play. And again, This is just one idea. So let me put a little speed on that now. There you go. There's that rhythm, and there's all the other notes filled in with my weak hand. So, and if you've watched this channel at all, you know that I'm a big proponent on anything that you do with your natural way of playing. So if you're right-handed, you play with a right-hand lead, that you shouldn't be able to do with a left-hand lead. Same thing is true for me. If I do it with my left hand, and that I was doing the left-hand lead, I should be able to do it with a right-hand lead. So here you go. And you can do it all the way down. Let me look at number 2, and I'm going to stay with the right-hand lead, right? So this would be 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and that rhythm is 1, 2, and 3 and 4, right? So right away, let your wheels turn. That could be with my weak hand lead. That could be on the hi-hat, the other notes on the snare. I could be doing that between 2 tom-toms. All right, I'm building now, and I haven't gotten to my feet yet. Let me do that with my my left-hand lead. Let's do one more, right? And I'm going to show you something else. Number 3 is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 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 1. I'm going to put that with that same principle. So now the real trick of this is putting them together, letting them flow. In other words, if I did this with my right-hand lead, I'm going to do it slow at first, so you can see, here's that first one, right? 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. See, I just switched very comfortably, very naturally. Let's do it a little quicker. There you go. I played the first 3. It's 12 bars, and I did that all with my right-hand lead. I can do it with my left-hand lead, but I don't want to waste the time to do that because I like to keep the videos at a certain length. Now, let's go to phase 2 of this. Suppose we change that from the 8th notes that it is and made them kind of like cut time 16th notes. Right? So now instead of 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 for number 1, we're going to have 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 and. Now, put that on my left-hand lead. Are your wheels starting to turn? Are you starting to see where I'm going with this? So now I can fill in the other notes with my snare hand, which would be my right hand, right? So now I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. Let's put some mustard on it. Now, imagine if that was on the bell of the cymbal, and I had 4 on the floor. Now I got a Latin rhythm. Now I got a Latin rhythm to do. I can even here just pop it up on the edge so you can kind of hear it, right? Let me do the traditional grip because this feels more comfortable to me with this. Right, that is a groove you could play. Let's look at number 2. Same idea, right? The actual rhythm, just to repeat it, is 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. But let's make that the 16 notes. 1 and a 2 E N, 1 and a 2 E N, 1 and a 2 E N. If I do with that left hand lead and I make it that cut time idea, 1 E N a 2 E N, a 1 E N a 2 E N, a 1 E N a 2 E N. right? Now, what am I doing? I'm building some cool little Latin grooves, and I'm getting inspired. And as I'm sitting here talking to you in real time, so you can kind of watch me, I'm starting to think, suppose we just did a bar for bar. Like suppose I took one bar of the first example, which is 1 E-N, a 2 N. Take one bar of the second example, 1 N, a 2 E-N, and put them together. So now the pattern would be and so what is that pattern? Let me make this a little bit cleaner here. Alright, that is kind of a slightly perverted cascadas. Now I've got a real rhythm. I've got my own cascadas I can play. If you don't know what a cascadas is, it's something you play kind of on the side of the drum, right? Right? And you can do a lot of different rhythms with that. So, let's try it. And let's do this both with the right hand lead and the left hand lead. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to start with this with the right hand lead, and I got to kind of work it up because I just kind of thought of it. So, and that's what I'm talking about. So, I got to be honest with you. I haven't done a video in about a week because I just haven't been inspired. You know, I had so much fun playing on Friday night with some good friends, and I got to see some good people. And I got to be honest with you, I just realized how much I miss it, how much is part of my identity after doing it for 40 years, you know? And so I just kind of felt down about the fact that I've got a couple of gigs this month, and for a person who was going from between 10 and 20 gigs a month to go to 2 or 3, this is a tough adjustment for me. And even though I enjoy doing these videos, it's not quite the same as playing live, right? And if you're a professional player, you know that. So I had to find a way to get re-inspired so that I would go to my practice room and I would practice, right? To stay good, because I noticed, even at the show on Friday, there were some execution problems. Nothing that anybody really noticed, but I noticed them, and it's because I've been doing the videos, but that's not the same as having 2 and 3 hour practices every day. So let's talk about this on the right hand. So now let's just work it up nice and slow. This won't take that long, right? So we're going to go 1 E N A 2 E N A 1 E N A 2 E N A 1 E N A 2 E N A 1 E N A 2 E N A. So now let's play a little faster. I messed it up. So why did I do that little break in the middle, right? And I know that it wasn't perfect because you should always try to go away from the groove you're playing and then go back to the groove you're playing. Now I'm going to actually develop that idea. I like it, and I'm going to do it with a metronome so I can really tighten it up. And now I'm getting kind of inspired to do the whole page that way, right? Just take 2 bars of different examples. Like I'm looking at number 11 and 12, and I'm thinking, wow, I could put those 2 together. Let me see if I can work those up. Make a little cascadas with that. So let me do it with the left-hand lead so you can hear this a little bit better, a little more proficiently, right? And this is something I don't have to work up that hard, so we can just get right into it. And I'm even going to do it with the edge of the drum in a minute. So let's start out with my left-hand lead, right? A little slow. 1 E N A 2 E N A 1 E N A 2 E N A. A little quicker now. And I think I even mixed up which was first and which was second. But that's okay, right? I'm doing a cascadas. I'm doing my own kind of cascadas thing. I'm creating something new, right? Out of something that wasn't there before. And I'm sure I'm not the first person to think of this, right? This is not like brand new. And if you know your Cascadas, right, most Cascadas is kind of like, and that's kind of a typical Cascadas, which isn't that far from this. So these are ideas, and I can put those on the bell of the cymbal, and the next video will be doing just that. I will do some of these Latin patterns on the bell of the cymbal using the Syncopation book from Ted Reed, pages 34, in my own attempt to give myself, one, some new stuff to practice that I've created, right? That I've created. Now, let's talk for a minute. It is a good thing for you to practice other guys' stuff and to learn what they did, and I have done it on this channel. We have Vinnie Caliuta, Steve Gadd, some John Bonham stuff, some Jeff Piccaro stuff, right? There's a video channel called Study the Greats. I am a firm believer of that. Study the great people, right? But then, you know what? You've got some stuff to offer. Come up with something. So this book is a great book to do that with. You know, come up with a basic, simple book. And well, you know, the other thing I like about this book is it's really, really cheap. You can order it from Amazon, and I hope some sales go up. If you come up with some good ideas, put your version, you know, of whatever you came up with to practice some of these things. Write in the comments. You know, put your video of it. Because this is really, really cool. And there are pages and pages and pages of these kind of syncopations that you can make Latin grooves, funk grooves, rock grooves out of, right? And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that Casada showed me, and a couple of different Philly solo kind of ways that Casada showed me that are great, that I still use in my solos to this very day, and it's been since, I don't know, since he showed me when I was like 20 years old, and I'm 58, okay? Anyway, I hope you got something out of this. Again, my job is to teach you how to practice, all right? Hopefully things will get better, guys, and I'll be able to see you out there playing around the country again. I really, really miss it. Anyway, live well and be well.